Hey, video game fans, this is Mac trying some new game today. Well, not a new game, an old game, but a redone game, a game that I've been playing a lot of, but I have not been recording. 7 Days to Die. Before I even get this going, I should double check. When was the last time I recorded a 7 Days game? It has been a while. Let me check this. I want to get my timeline here set. My videos. The last time I recorded 7 days. Oof. I gotta go back a whole page. Got Fallout and I got Conan Exiles. I've been doing BattleTech for a while. Wow. It has been December 2023. So all of 2024, I didn't even play the thing. Well, I did. Okay, so here's what happened. I stopped playing it at that time because I was playing other games. And since then, they have gotten. Let's restart. I last spring, a full year ago, and I don't remember if it was February or March, sometime last spring, I opened up the game to see because I hadn't played it in several months, and I just wanted to see if there was any updates or any changes. There wasn't. Uh, so I stopped. I didn't play it. I just, I was doing a test play, seeing if everything was there, and it was working. So I went back to my normal gaming habits. Then last fall, I must have seen some things on Steam or something. Either update had been out or some kind of an announcement, and I was like, oh well, let's check it out. So I opened up the game, I updated it, and all that stuff. And the 1 point version came out, and it no longer allowed me to play my old game because it was the pre 1.0 version. It was a little disappointing, but that's fine. I was kind of ready to start some new play anyway. Uh, and so I got into it. I created a new world, a new procedurally generated map, and got into it. And I've been playing it daily almost since then. This is back to September or October, and we're now in the spring of 2025, and I've been playing it for a little more than half a year. And I've been playing it a lot, and I've advanced my gameplay quite a bit. I understand the game a little better now than I did when I was playing it last year, and I'm enjoying it. And I've been looking for some other games to record other than BattleTech, and this thing has been on my list of things I wanted to update. And so I'm going to give a little tour of my bases. Of course, right now it's middle of the night. It's just 1 minute into the AM. And I'm getting ready to be attacked. Uh, Before I do anything else, I better turn down the audio because this is going to blow my ears out. I don't know whether or not it's going to be that loud for you, but it is definitely loud for me. Okay. So I did some things with this one. I was really tired of how bright nighttime is because it's always this 100% full moon lit style and it made things too light. So I went online and they said, oh, yeah, you can turn the darkness to the maximum. It doesn't affect how bright daylight is, but what it does is inside buildings and nighttime is a lot more dark. And look at this. This is treacherous. I mean, this is scary. It just still doesn't feel like night. Because if this was the middle of the night, even on a full moon night, I wouldn't be able to see color that far away. No way. I wouldn't even be able to see color right here. It's nighttime. You don't see color at night. But that's beside the point. The darkness is terrifying. You go inside of a building at night, or even in the daytime, if there's no windows, it's terrifying. So it really does make you rely on your light sources so much more. Some housekeeping. So I wanted to give a tour of my current bases. I have one outpost one my permanent main base, and then I have been spending a lot of time in the last week or two building up a second base to the way I liked it. But before I start the tour, I wanted to show where I was. So this property here, what is it? The Taylor Manor. I built my base in the last game at Taylor Manor, and I wanted to kind of go through this and explain why I pick certain locations as my bases or my outposts. This is the big reason why I picked this base. It's a house, it's a full house, with this beautiful brick wall, metal gate, around the entire structure. It's pretty awesome. I thought that would be an excellent place to build a base. I like a good wall. Yeah, the zombies will dig their way through it. On the default settings especially, they like to rip through walls, and give them an hour or two and they'll rip through brick because, zombies are notorious for breaking brick and concrete with their bare hands. There's also an underground base here, which is fairly small, but it has this nice little outside exit, which you can utilize once you've gone through it. I've not gone through this structure. I just saw it when I was driving around. I says, you know what, that's where I'm going to start my video. Because this is where I left off in my last game. I had my base at one of these Taylor Manors, underground, pretty much just using it for storage, but I had my facility, workbenches and so forth, and I was doing okay with that. So we're in the desert biome right now. I got to go back south. I was going the right direction after all. Turn around, turn around, turn around. So in this particular map that I put in, I procedurally generated map. I want to always stress that. I created one that was in the hub, kind of a hub map. I think that's what it's called. The forest biome is in the middle, and it's surrounded by all the other biomes. So here's the desert biome, up here is the snow biome, over here's the wasteland, and down here's the burning forest. It's also a small map. This is the smallest size map I could build. My previous playthrough I played on a very large map, and it took forever to go from place to place. I like the smaller map a little better. It's a little easier on my traveling. Since I'm playing alone too, it's not like I'm bumping into a lot of other people. A small map is fine for one person. Although, I love the big map because the big map is definitely going to have more things for you to explore.
My
but
senses have picked up something.
I don't know why I went this way, but it's the way I'm going. Got to get back on a major thoroughfare. Here we are. And anyway, they started me, I should say, in the forest biome in the middle. And I was enjoying I was looking for a place to kind of build a base. I hadn't found anything I loved, but I found this little, I don't even know what it is, a gift shop? I'm going way too far out here. I gotta go backtrack now. I'm almost leaving town. Moe's, it's a Moe's, kind of like a country convenience store. And it was on the edge of town, and I liked the look of it. I liked what it had to offer. It was convenient. It was right next to the road. It wasn't in the middle of the desert biome, and the desert biome has a lot. That's a big city. It's the third biggest city in my game. The second biggest city, actually, it might be a little bigger than the one in the snow biome. They're pretty close in size. The biggest city is this one, and it's kind of a double city. And so I took the Moe's grocery store and I turned it into my base.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Anybody else? And I fortified the thing, as you can see. There was a nice little driveway over here and had a vehicle in it that got blown up by some zombies, but that's fine. Created a little hole that I used to mine. I walled off the whole inside of this thing. This was basically, I didn't intend it to be a permanent base, but then the more I kept building, I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I just basically completely surrounded the existing structures with my brick wall. And we'll keep the Zeds out for too long, but does the job. Has a nice wall. I mean, by itself, it was pretty fortified. It had a wall all the way around the thing, but those wooden walls don't hold much. They're not going to hold out the Zeds. I mean, they'll break through the brick. I mean, I don't currently use this as a base. This is where I found out that you can only have 3 bases per person. And I had built like 5, and this one started to deteriorate, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to move my stuff out of here because my other main base that I was using is really close by, and so it felt stupid having 2 bases that close.
My senses have picked up something.
Okay, now that I got that out of the way. So this was the base that I built, or modified. Had nice ground outside. I had some garden plants out here, some of those planters, and had crops on it. I put a few more up here. I intended this back area to kind of be the shower area. It had a nice hole in the roof up here. This is where, I mean, that's what's left of my land claim block. It deteriorates like that when you no longer use it, when you deactivate it. I thought this little shed that was in here would have been great, except the thing is built crooked. It's built on an angle. It's not built so it's square, and so most of the furniture items can't be put at 45-degree angles. They only go at 90-degree angles, so it turns out that was really kind of lousy. You also can't open or shut the door. But the main building is what I used. I put my little fire pit out here, and I put a cover on it because it kept raining on me, and I was getting tired of that. This is damage that's happened recently, but this is basically what I did. I basically organized a nice storage capacity in here. I had a crate for all my different army classes. I had my mod recipes, my periodicals or magazines. Got all my turrets and electronics were in there, my tools, my weapons, my meds, my weapon mods, my armor mods. Over here I have the garden stuff, and above it I had another case that I was using for materials as well, and then I had foodstuffs there. Got my bed back here. It essentially is a storage room, and I hadn't gone any farther than the walls around the outside and really organizing my storage. My main base is in the next town over in the forest biome, and that's where I was doing most of my living and most of my building and most of my fun stuff. The only thing base was being used for was storage. So I decided, well, I really don't need to waste an entire land claim block just for storage. So I decided, let's get rid of it. And about 10 trips later, I was able to transfer all the stuff that was in here to my other base, which is where we're going to go next. It's not a long trip, believe me. It's really just over the rise over here. We're going to leave the desert biome, go back to the forest. This is another reason why I picked that location. It was an excellent location because it's right next to the merchant. So I was able to just, jump over here and buy and sell stuff as needed. It was right next to the forest biome, which was convenient as well. Keep my high speed on here. Yeah, my 2 bases were literally this close together, and I was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. On my previous game, I was scouting different locations that I thought would be good bases for future gameplays, and one of the ones I loved was this little small town police station. Why did I like it? Well, right out the gate, I loved it because it had an outer wall. Not this. This is stuff I built. It had this lovely walled-in area, and I thought that would be an excellent place to build a base. All you got to do is kill all the inside Zeds. There's rooms inside. There's no basement. There's no upstairs outside of the rooftop. But it's a nice enclosed wall. that I proceeded to heavily fortify. So the existing wall was fine, but the Zeds still kept breaking into them. Um, I put a trench down. I put fences in. This was great. I had only one thick, all the way down the side of this building, and I was working on extending the fence of uh, of spikes up front, and I heard this sound of a bunch of zombies. I was like, "What the heck's going on?" And so I came back over here, and one of those little mini hordes that goes and wanders around was basically walking right down the side of this wall, breaking all of the things that I had just built. Oh, I was so ticked. Those ones that are damaged, that's from that initial damaging run that they did. They had destroyed all the ones up further up on the wall and destroyed several of the ones beyond it, and they were sticking on these last couple, and I was like, oh, you idiots. So that's when I decided to create this little jutting out thing. And the existing barriers that were here, I just fortified them with some more spikes. So now any little horde that comes wandering down here is basically going to be in for trouble. I created this nice little drawbridge. It's electronic, obviously. Doesn't always work. Sometimes it comes down part of the way and doesn't complete. Below it, I have a nice little pit full of more spikes. They won't travel across it because it's too deep. They can't utilize it. But just in case something falls through there. And I did fall down here once, and that's led me to believe, I better have a stairway to get out of here because I don't want to be stuck in an area that I can't jump. Part of my fortifications, besides reinforcing the wall, anywhere you notice that it's sticking out, that's a normal block. These are half blocks that were part of the existing wall of the structure. Obviously, I cut some out, put a block underneath, these are, the outer two are submachine guns, the two in the middle are shotguns. I put lights up here so the place is always well lit. Any zombies that come walking down here will get gunned down. They don't even make it to my fence anymore. They can make it to this fence, and I was getting tired of that. As you can see, they broke through the little metal barrier that I installed. That was not default. I built that. I put an electric wire fence. There's an electric fence now in there, so if they do get in that close, these are all loaded up to more submachine guns. Dug the trench, spikes all over the place. They pretty much gun down whatever comes close. Then there's the front of the building. There was a little break room there. That wall is an existing wall. This is a part of the structure. I did not build this. They have this little enclosed, kind of like smoke break area. So I put 3 machine guns in there, and they're well entrenched. They can't really get to those, not through all that. The walls out here, I wanted to fortify it up a little more. I got 2 more down there. And then there's the parking lot. This is my wall. And obviously it's just a cobblestone wall. It's not concrete because at the time I didn't have enough concrete. So, look at this experiment. So this place is lit up with lights. It's also got cameras all over the place. And the cameras are all tied to various numbers of spin blade traps. When a zombie comes in here, these things start rolling. Cut through anything. In the front, I have gaps. Now, right now, they have to climb through these things, and meanwhile, I have guns over there that are shooting at them. But eventually, they'll get through. They'll run through here, and then they start getting cut up by all the blades. I kind of like that. I like the funneling them down these paths. I really didn't need the fences, but I had them, and I just stuck them in there for the heck of it. As you can see, they're all in a state of disrepair. Then the whole backside, there's a gap there, but it's so nasty. It's so hard to get through there. They never go through there. If they ever do, then I'm going to go ahead and block that off. A patch all the way back around to the backside of the facility. I got a couple of spike traps, which will shoot anything. Really dumb. They're not that effective. But I do have another gun over here, ready to shoot anything. All these trees back here are ones I planted. I have that gives me a steady supply of wood without having to travel too far. There was a lot of damage along this wall, and I had to replace a huge chunk of it, so that's why it kind of looks the way it does, but it turned out okay. And back around. Now, this is so heavily fortified out here, they don't even attempt to go through it usually. Every once in a while, some zombie from the forest will come wandering along and decide to cross there. And if I stay here all night, I'll come out in the morning and there'll be little drop bags from the zombies that died on trying to get into the base. Give you a little tour of the inside of my base. So right here, I can easily, swap out the ammo as needed. The whole place is like a proper fort. You can walk around the entire base using the ramparts here. It has a big metal door that's not functioning. It's basically concrete, but it looks like it's a big metal door. But it had these nice holes in it, and so it worked out well to put in some machine guns. I did have one back here, but it wasn't as effective, so I decided to put them, stick them in a little bit. That makes them there's just a lot more guns. They'll gun down whatever comes along. Got some fungus there. We'll go over the power later. So there was a big hole in the wall in the police station here. Either the zombies that were inside burst out or the zombies on the outside burst in. But anyway, there was a humongous hole. And my idea was let's just drop in a big brick wall to cover it. Most of the dirt spaces, not all, but most, because I have some over here that are still dirt, but technically they're outside of my control zone. In here, these are all gardens. These are all plants that I've planted and I can harvest. I tried to keep as much of the original stuff as possible, so I got this shuttle bus here. The cars that are out here. I got some other planters here. I like to think this is a very lived-in. It does look and feel like a lived-in base if you were in the zombie survival. Police car. Oh, see, these are outside of my control zone, so they will respawn, which is nice. I planted the big tree. I had to extend the planter to do it, but it worked. One of my vehicles, I have my motorcycle there. I got a bicycle over here. So this is the kind of the park area. We got ourselves a little picnic table. We got a dog house and a carrier thing. My garbage bin where I store all of this stuff, all of the flesh, the plant fibers. That doesn't go in there, and the bones. Speaking of, there's a feather for you. And then I built a garden. So this was just a grassy little plot over here. And I decided, well, they don't let you plant stuff in just grassy plot, in grassy ground. So I dug down a level and dropped in planters. And I created this nice little area. So if you were a gardener, you don't have to bend over it. The garden is right there. So I got my fungus area. I got some yucca plants. I got a whole row of corn, including the super corn. Some coffee. I surrounded the tree area. I planted a nice tree that grew up nicely, and it's surrounded by plants. So every once in a while, or I periodically have to go through here and just harvest everything and replant. But it's a nice little garden. There was a door over here, which I got rid of. Covered it up. So now there's no way to get in here except for going through the walls. And I've got, like I said before, I have plenty of little ladders to access the different spots, so that I can access all this and do maintenance and stuff like that, because I was using this as basically my way in. You had to give the zombies some pathway in, and so technically they could get in here, but if they go up, they're going to bonk their head and they won't be able to get up anyway. So I cut out an area of the roof. I also have this that goes right down into the park area. There was a door here that goes into the police station. I filled it. The metal thing that goes up was a broken ladder, and I decided, I like the way it looks disheveled like that, so I just covered it with a little metal grate thing. We'll go over my power later. There was a damaged area here that goes down into the shower room, and I wanted to create something that looked a little more different. I was going to use this as a water collection area because obviously the showers underneath it would be kind of effective, but instead I just kind of put a bulletproof glass window so sunlight can get in. I got rid of most of the stray most of the ducts that were up here, but I kept some of them. And I had the place all wired up. I created this is like my version of the water tower. I thought it looked kind of cool. It looks like something that would, it's a water collection actually. So it's open top so it can collect rainwater. I intended to get buckets of water and dump it in here, but it just flows right out. The reason is that this thing is not a single structure. This is a four-cornered block basically. And it looks like they're sealed. Everything is all riveted up, right? Well, yeah, but there's no way for the water to stay in here. It just flowed out, so I said, oh, heck with it. From down here, it looks like a normal water tower anyway. And of course, then the water would go in here, and then this goes down to where my water heater is, down in the like the service room. I decided I wasn't satisfied with my garden just being in the garden, so I started planting plants elsewhere, and so I created these little eaves off of the roof, which I thought were nice. I put another couple of them on top of this thing here with a ladder. So I got some lots and lots of plants. No shortage of plants. The edge of the police garage was here, and I wanted to extend it because I had other ideas of stuff I wanted to do. So I extended it, and I added this as a roof. It's actually a metal roof, but it looked more like a traditional roof than some of the other things I was finding. I got my little gyrocopter that if you know how to fly it, good on you, but I'm tired of messing with it. I think the flight characteristics of that thing are so god awful, I'm never going to use it again. And I created this nice little bridge. So the stairs go up and down, but it's another way that you can get into the base. I got my little burning barrel and seats, kind of a little lounge area. Got some barrels for wine or whatever. Got my water collection stuff here, which I'm going to go ahead and empty. 3 dew collectors. Another little garden here. It turned out the above the police station there's a crawl space kind of attic, and there was a box up there, and I decided, you know what, it'd be kind of nice to use that space. So I built this little, it's not even a shed, it looks like a shed, but it's actually just a little doorway entrance into the upper, like the little above ground attic. So I can use this for storage. I can use the box that was up here as storage. There was this ladder here, which I think was intended to be used as a, like you drop it down. It was an added little feature of this. I thought that was kind of cool, just as a visual thing. If I really wanted to utilize the space, I'd take out all the ductwork, but the ductwork makes it look more realistic, so I left it. Obviously, the tree is coming through the graphic, but, whatever. So I built that little thing up. Came out nice. And I also had, so the main way that I used to get in and out of my building, because I intentionally blocked off all the outer doors, was I would come through what was a hole in the roof. There was a big hole in the roof that had one of those like descending concrete, metal reinforced concrete things down the middle of it, and I was using that. But every time it rained, I felt like everything down there would just get sopping wet. So I built this building to cover the hole. And then I expanded it and made it even bigger, because it started off I was using blocks. Anything you see where I'm using like a full block of something, it's kind of a earlier attempt. If you notice the other base, my walls were all just blocks. It wasn't until I got here that I discovered how you can alter the appearance of the blocks to other shapes. So I created these where they're, more like walls instead of just big, heavy, 4x4 blocks. Before I go downstairs, I'm going to go over my power. So I have 5 solar arrays here, and they're mostly as powerful as I'm going to make them, although I need to swap out a few of these 1s and 2s and 3s for 4, 5s, and 6s to make them a little more juiced. And the reason why I have so many is because of all those guns. They all need power. All those lights, they need power. I don't even have that much in my building that requires power, but there's so many things out here that require it that I had to keep upping it. And so each one of these has their own, every one of the solar banks. So this panel and this panel are 2 separate solar panels. Every solar panel goes from it to a battery charger. Inside the battery charger, you're going to find, car batteries. And then from there, it goes to some kind of a wire relay, and then it'll go out to wherever it needs to go to. All of them do that. So each one of these has a matching battery that wires up to one of them. In the daytime, the solar panels produce the power that is needed. But at night, they don't produce anything. So that's when the battery power, they start going on the batteries. Because the solar panels are generating X amount of electricity during the day, they need to be able to power the stuff that's out there, but they also recharge the battery that gets used at night. So it's a nice little one hand scratches the other, and I don't need to use generators with fuel. So my first solar panel was the lower one over here. It's wired to this. The one on top is wired to that. Those two are each wired to there too, and the one that's over here is wired to the one that pretty much does all the power to this area out there. I tried to do it to give it all the power to all of this stuff over here, all of these guns, but it was too much juice. I couldn't create enough power to do it. That's when I had to create these other two panels. And you see the little rooftop relay over here. These are wired all the way over here because they need to power all the guns that are up front as well as the ones that are on the side. And it keeps me all powered up. So this is the original hole. I dug it out a little more and cleaned it up. Created, technically this is storage, but it's whatever. Hay bales. Obviously, you could, if it wasn't for the block system that they use, I could put stuff up here, but you can't really do it. And then I created a nice little stairway, which was one of the first construction things I did for this because I was getting tired of utilizing the crappy little ramp that they had here. So up and down I go. Where to start? Well, let's start with my main room here. This is my main crafting room. I got my forge here with all my raw smelting materials and everything that pretty much is the raw material that is either used for that or for the cement mixer is found in there. So that sand I picked up, that belongs in here. So does that. Don't need any of that in my person. I got my workbench here. Like the way that looks. I had some signs. I figured out how to do signs, and so each one of these is marked. I'll get to that in a second. Some decorative items. It's non-functioning sink, but it looks, it's kind of an industrial sink to wash stuff off. Oh yeah, this is my free junk to take junk or to sell it. If I was playing with other people, anything I put in here you can just take. One fire set wasn't enough, so I had to put in a second one. I wish they were lined up straight. I keep meaning to turn this, but I haven't messed with it yet. Because I cook so many things, I need two of them because each one of these only has 4 slots or 6 slots to cook, finish cooking, and only 4 slots to actually cook. And if I want to cook 8 things, then I need 2 of them. Here's my land claim. This is the center of my little claim to this plot of land. I got one whole case that's doing nothing but holding my purified water. I got another box here for all the dry goods, so all of the canned stuff that's ready to eat. Then everything that's up here are stuff that are used in recipes. Just for that. My refrigerator cooks all my fancy cooked items. For the most part, this is what it is. It doesn't have a lot of storage compared to these, and even this isn't great. The steel box carries so many more things, but this that carries more. And then I put in one of these wall cabinets, which is actually for like dead bodies, for holding dead bodies down at the morgue. It carries a ton of stuff. And this is a cool, dry place. So this is where I put all of the fruit, all the vegetables, all of the meat, all of the stuff that is ready to be cooked, as well as the grilled corn, because there wasn't enough room for it anywhere else. I kind of like the realistic feel of it. So, and then I got this just holding some of the fancy drinks. I got a couple of sets of those. I don't know why the water is in there. It shouldn't be. That belongs in here. Once I get too much water, then I do another bout of purified water. And it looks like we're about ready to do that, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. Get rid of the eggs. So that's my cooking station. What's this refrigerator doing here? Well, it turns out there's a door on the other side of that space. I wanted to utilize the space, and I thought this was pretty awesome. It fits right up against the wall like that. So I can't build right over against this because this is a half block. So it considers the 2 rows of tiles that you see there a part of that block. So I can't build anything right up to this. Whatever I put here has to be extended this far out. So that's kind of annoying, but it looks good. It looks like I have more space than I actually have. Into the laboratory. So this is actually like a security room for the police station as one of its entrances in the garage. I took out some of the furniture. I left some of it in. I don't know. We'll leave it for now. This is where I have my chemistry station. Since this is all enclosed in here by itself, I figured, well, if anything's going to blow up, let's keep the damage to a minimum here. And a couple of lockers for storage. Okay. Steel door. In here, this is the primary living space. If I was sharing this building with other survivors, this is where I would go. Here's my book depository. I have a nice little collection of books. So these are the first column are volume 1s, volume 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s of each of the books that are in the game. As you can see, this is a full set. I have all the books in these particular series. There is no 8th, so that's empty. That's 1. I am only missing one of these books. I still don't have volume 1. I've used volume 1. I've had one. But in terms of my storage capacity, I'm still missing that one for the collection. And I'm missing a couple over here. But I'm working on it, working on it. Then there's my periodicals. I got 20 copies of every magazine, and then all the extras I put down here. And I'm in a process of selling anything that I get too many of. Once I get 14, 15, 16, or 20, up to 20 of them, then I go ahead and take it out and take it to a seller. Most of the time now, I'm just selling them without even bringing them back to my base. But if I ever bring another person in to play with me, then this is, here, go ahead and use these up. I'm just using these to store stuff. Mod schematics, so if you want to learn how to do different things, these all can carry 5 of a particular stack, and once I have more than 5, then I don't put it in here and I take it to a merchant and sell it. So there's a lot of different recipes, including these exclusive ones, the super corn recipe and the Shamway secret recipe. I just found another one of these recently. I just put this in yesterday. So things are going good here. And then over here I got my armor mods, because this is where I keep all my armor. So we have my light armors. It's a single locker on these, unfortunately. And then I go on to medium over here, and then once I get done with the mediums, there's heavies. And then over here it finishes up the heavies, and then below I have some anything that didn't fit into my armor mod thing, I just threw the extras into here, because I don't really want to get rid of all these, but eventually I'll organize them and sell the stuff that I have too many of. I mean, it's nice having these for people who really want to make their armor better, because I use them. So this particular room is the locker room, obviously. But this is where, we got the sink here. I actually put that sink in. There was, I don't know what was there, but it wasn't. It was just junk, garbage can. And then in here is basically the shower room. So I got water in here as a big basin, and then I got another one here. You need some kind of a washing means. We got daylight there. So what about the water? Well, back here we've got the waterworks. It's my little custodian door. We got water there. So my envisionment, here's the water heater, is my big water supply is up above, and it would pipe it right down into the water heater and then across the way. So these are legitimate, little warm showers we'll be able to have. Of course, I have the laundry area here. I got a washing machine and a dryer. There's the door. So I covered up the door on both the outside and inside. A generator that I'm not currently using, with the battery bank to extend. So it's wired up to the rest of it. I got a little gaming area here. And then we have the bunkhouse. So this came with these bunk beds. I can't build these. At least I haven't found a way to build them yet. Got some storage. We've got a TV that doesn't work. We got some this is basically where the people would be able to stay. I put a sleeping bag in here. A little little target practice, throw in knives or whatever. A little empty cooler, and of course you have your own little bathroom. This had a hole in the roof. I fixed it. So the bunkhouse has basically room for 4 beds plus the floor, and you got your own little bathroom and a nice little living space. Play games on the table. You got the shower right over here, so it's a nice little convenient wing of the base. I want to fix that, but I don't have the metal for it right now. So this is the main conference room. I put in my own table and chairs. I figured this is where people would have their communal meals. You're cooking in the next room. You come in here and you eat. Or if you need to have a meeting, we got the coffee maker and the cabinets and stuff. They have little holding cells over here. We'll get to that in a second. These are the default boxes that were in here for loot. I built these, obviously, so I have one for each of the main things. So all my healthcare stuff is here. I regularly have to just take these to the merchant and sell them, even though they're not worth that much, because I'm not healing up near as much as I need to. So, all right, I have way more of this stuff than I need, so I just got to sell it. Anything, if I want to build a weapon from scratch, I got the materials for that in here. Down here, we got the home and garden section. This is where I keep all my seeds, as well as some of the furnishing items, some of the raw materials that don't fall into the other categories, but all my raw wood, my wood blocks, my steel blocks, my concrete blocks. I have another extra sign here. I just haven't found anything to, put any place. A couple of buckets of water. And then down here is what I call mechanical stuff. So where I put my traps, electrical parts, mechanical parts, the pipes and springs and all the other junk that's just kind of mechanical. This doesn't have, actually this place doesn't even have as much storage capacity as the little shack over in the desert biome, but and basically everything that's in here is extra bullets that I need to sell. Those are spikes for spike traps, which I don't use. More bullets and shells. This was kind of like the main office with computers, and there was a desk and everything in here. And again, if I was divvying this place up with a bunch of people, this would be somebody's bedroom, and they would be able to furnish it how they like. But that's what I have in there. This is also what opened up the doors, but it's not functioning anymore because it's been used. I think I'll go out there next. So we're going to go into the rest of the base. Now you'd also be able to access this wing from the area in here, but I covered that up. That's the only door I didn't bother to fix. I left it completely sealed off. Oh, I didn't show you what was in these. So these were each individual little cells. Each one of these had a toilet and basically a slab. The slab is a half slab, so I can't put a sleeping bag on there. It would be so cool to be able to put a sleeping bag on top of that. Can't do it. So my only option is either to remove the block and put a sleeping bag on the floor, or to put a full-size block, which would be twice as high, which would look ridiculously high off the ground. So it really sucks that I can't put a sleeping bag on that half block. So the outer two are just that. All they are is a slab and that. The middle one, I left the toilet, but this one didn't have any sleeping area. So it actually works out as kind of like, the workroom, workstation area toilet. It doesn't even have a sink. Back here are the offices. So I haven't done a lot of furnishing with this. I just working on fixing the dang walls and making them look the way I want them to look. Haven't even bothered fixing the glass here. I should do that sometime. I can remove this desk. We could put in beds, whatever. But it's there. It's an office. This office I've done a little more with. I'm not real happy with the outer wall, but it is what it is. A couple of sleeping bags. Got a safe, some bookshelves, the desk. It's a little bigger than the other office. The other office has a wall safe on it. Interrogation room that I got rid of the desk, so all it is a sleeping bag and a chair now. But it's another room where, again, if I was playing with multiple people, everybody would have their own little bedroom. And you could do with it what you want. Here's like the communal kitchen. I mean, obviously the stove and stuff doesn't work, but I put them in here. I built that. I built the sink. I built the whole cabinet system over here. Got rid of all the broken furniture and replaced it with this stuff. And then over here I've got the vending machine, which is something that I can put my stuff in and other players can purchase. Of course, refrigerator, smoking area, which technically is a weak spot, but the zombies haven't figured out how to get here, so who cares? But it's a nice little kitchenette. I mean, at the very least, it's a place to hang out in the zombie apocalypse. It's good for peace of mind. I got my gun mods here. I got my melee mods here, and overflow is elsewhere. The bathrooms I cleaned up. I fixed up the doors. Um, men's. Oh, it is the sign over there. Men's room there, women's room, and then this. I turned it into my main storage room. This is where. This is basically the armory. I was trying some different doors and stuff. The metal um, blocks looked pretty impressive. I put in one of those big bear safes or beaver boxes, I think they're called. This is where I keep all the firearms, and all of these are level 4 or 5. I've managed to sell off all of the lower leveled ones by now. I did have my bows and arrows in here, my crossbows, but they were, as you can see, it was getting kind of full, so I moved them elsewhere. I've got two things. This is the iron box, and it filled up with ammo. Over here is a steel box, steel storage crate, also filled up with all the bullets and ammo. I also have all of my specialized ammo is in this particular case. All the things that are armor piercing or high power, they're in here. All of my explosives are in here, my grenades, my dynamite, my rocket launcher, and rocket launcher ammo is all in here. So this is a very important crate for me. Inside here I put a couple of lockers. Right now they're empty, but this one's carrying some extra ammo and lockpicks. That's pretty much all. And then on the wall I put in a safe. And if, as you can see, I have way more ammo than I know what to do with. It's part of the reason why I'm running around shooting so many things, is I'm just trying to burn through some ammo. And more ammo. And this is where I currently have all my bows and arrows and crossbows. Also all level 4 and 5. Even the obsolete primitive bow and iron crossbow, which I never intend to use, but again, maybe somebody is interested. There is the door that I have never bothered to fix or replace, and the refrigerator is on the other side of it. I put in a couple of lockers over here for the overflow of the stuff I don't want to throw away, just kind of like what I did with the armored stuff. So this is like the main office with the police station. We're right next to what was the front door. Right over there was the front door for the place. And this was like where people would come in. Well, I put some furniture in here and turned it into a nice little apartment. So this is like the main living space. And then back here is the bedroom. I got my bed, I got my dresser. This is kind of like the main bedroom in the base. It's the best one because it's the only one that has proper furnishings. Water fountain. It's got the bathroom, so you got your own private bathroom, and then you've got your own, what would have been a little smoke area, but I completely covered it off. So basically what this is an area where you could actually put some storage crates or something. It's as deep into my base as you can get, even though technically it's right next to the outside wall. It's a nice little room. So this room with the little adjoining living space is actually kind of that's kind of like where the boss would live. I suppose that's where I would live. There's the big hole in the police station wall that I mentioned earlier. And I put in this ladder so I could access the upstairs area. Came out nice. And lastly, there is the garage. So this thing I have not fixed these. I pushed the little button in there and opened these up. I need to destroy these and replace them with functioning doors. But that's fine. In here was the police station garage, and it had a garage door on both sides, and both of them worked. I think both of them worked. I put in the lockers because I wanted storage for my tools. So I got my digging tools, I got my drills and the nail guns, and then I kind of needed an overflow. I had my chainsaws and axes down here, but then I had too many of these augers, so I threw them down there. And again, so these are all like power tools. Over here I got my power sledges and the robotic turret, and more of them down here. I got all my colored dies in that little box. Over here I have my hand tools, 2 of each, level 5, level 6, they're fine. And it's looks like 2 lockers, but it's only 1. All my automotive supplies, gasoline, engines, motor oil, wheels, again if I'm looking for materials. And then of course I got all my little drones. If you notice, I'm flying around with my little drone here. Who never wants to stay in one spot. He carries my excess stuff and he heals me. So he carries a few first aid kits and bandages in order to heal me. Primarily use him to carry my excess stuff. He acts as an extra inventory. He doesn't have any weapons or anything. He doesn't help you in combat, but he will heal you. without you having to ask him. And then the vehicle mods, the mods specifically for vehicles and the drones are all in here. And back to the garage. I thought about getting rid of the car so I could use it as driving space, but it turns out that thing is a little too small for this. Um, if I had a normal sized vehicle, I might be tempted, but I kind of like the car in here. So this is where the garage door was. I wanted more garage space, so I extended the garage out, put in a new door. It's another chemistry station because I had the perfect space for it, and it just fit in there just beautifully. And on the other side, I have the little stanchions here, and I put in another bicycle and another my mini bike, I guess, my only mini bike. Little window, a lot of concrete. Turned out nicely. I just wanted to experiment with the different. I could do this with storage. I never thought of that. Some hanging from the ceiling storage space. Just thinking out loud. And so I got the whole place wired up. I have this so there are cameras that will detect when something is in the space that'll cause the little drawbridge to go up and down. Makes it convenient to go in and out. As long as it goes all the way down. And so that is my main base. I'm sure other people out there have created things that are fancier and better than this. This is just what I did. I've explained this before, but I picked this for a very specific reason. It had an enclosed parked area with asphalt and a complete stone brick wall around the whole building. The building itself has a lot of rooms. It doesn't have any vertical. There's no upstairs. There's no basement. But it has a flat roof that obviously I can do whatever I want with it. I can build all sorts of stuff up on top of the roof and gardens and so forth. It is a really nice place. Now, am I going to sit here for a 7-day horde? No. I don't want to have to rebuild all this stuff when the horde comes in and starts ripping through everything. So unlike some people, I don't care about horde bases. People want to build them, fine. More power to you. I just basically go to the highest tower or building in my area and fend them off from wherever I'm at. And I'm fine with that. It's been a long time since I've died in a horde. I used to die almost maybe every third horde, but I'm good enough now that it doesn't happen. Speaking of, I have used this little area over here as a horde base. As you can see, there's some boxes up there that I built. I was able to fend them off. They had to come all the way up the building to get me, and then the building started to get deteriorated and destroyed. I've also used this thing before. And that whole building almost came down in a big pile because it was so wrecked. I'm not usually not here very often, so this is my home base. This is my happy home. I don't spend a lot of time here waiting for zombies to destroy everything that I built. So if I know it's a day 7 event or day 7 is happening, then I try to find myself a big city and I go find a high rise that I can go get on top of, and that's, to me, it's the best place to be. Limited. You want all the zombies to come at you from the same direction, and then you just gotta have enough bullets to kill them, or weapons. I love using my stun baton, and I just yeet them off the building left and right. Nothing gives me more pleasure than yeeting zombies a couple of blocks away. Alright, so we continue the tour. So after these locations were built, I had also built one up north, which is where we're going to go to next. The next location is not a proper base, it's just an outpost. But it's a good example of what I like to do with my outposts. You need a place to store your stuff without having to go all the way back to your main base, especially in your far-flung biomes. And so I don't have anything else built in the snow biome, but it was a good-sized city, and I wanted to be able to loot there without having to traipse back to my police station every single time I loaded up I was overloaded. I mean, I got my inventory, the robot's inventory, and the truck, and if all that gets filled up, it's a lot of stuff, but it's still better off to have something local that you can put stuff in. And so I like to have an outpost. And if it was me, I'd have an outpost in each of the major cities, but they only let you have 3 claimed blocks. So I have a main base, I have a secondary base in the wasteland, and I have an outpost in the snow biome, and it works for me. The police station is my nice quiet center of the storm because the Zeds there are not as dangerous. The events are not as bad there. It's the forest biome. It's the easy, cushy biome. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, the snow biome is a difficulty factor of 1.5 skulls. Forest is 0. No, it's been a while since I've been up here. I gotta hone my Grand Theft Auto 3 skills. That's where I learned how to navigate in these kind of video games, landmarks and so forth. Just by sheer repetition of driving the same streets and seeing the same buildings, you should be able to remember where things are, just like in real life. So I gotta get through all this residential part of the city and get over to the industrial park, because that's where my little outpost is. Hopefully nothing has been altered since I've been there. There we go. Oh, this isn't good. Poor game physics. There we go. Oh, you dang little parking buoys. Oh no. Oh, I didn't expect that. Wow. That thing was really beat up. Alright, we gotta get back on a main drive instead of driving through these parking lots. It's the bad part about this truck is that it does not have the maneuverability to just drive through the little gaps that the motorcycle and mini bike have, but can't beat the storage capacity of this thing, so.
Incoming enemies. Prepare for conflict.
We're on the right. Why does it say 4x4 truck all the way over there? I haven't built another truck. Why does it say 4x4 truck over there? That's really weird. I've only built one truck, so I don't know why there'd be another truck there. I don't think I built another truck. All right. In the industrial park. Gas station. One of the not poppin' pills, the Passin' Gas. This little Passin' Gas station is where I built my little outpost. Why? I don't know. It just seemed a good enough place. It's on the edge of town. I've looted the fire station several times. This place is probably... No, it's probably actually clear of bad stuff, but there's going to be some... Had to reinforce the back wall. Obviously, this thing was a little fragile. Ladder has been discontinued. Hey, leveled up. Some loot. Doesn't even matter what it is. Just get it. Enemies won't respawn in here because I have a land claim block. That's why you use land claim blocks. But the different treasure locations and the storage things will respawn if you haven't been here in a while, and I have not been here in quite some time. Got stairs that go up. You can't even get in here. I've blocked off the main door. So if you want to get upstairs and you don't have parkour skills enough to jump here, you have to use that. Oh, he's not. I thought he was banging on this wall. I don't care if he's banging on that one. Stay down. This is my outpost. The downstairs is just a facade. So there was a little camp up here with a little tent and a little tarp, and and some campfire and stuff. And I decided, well, let's build it up. This is obviously an old building because I did not properly craft it. These are just big ass wooden blocks. My storage crate for this particular location. Enough food stuff's here, so if I really am starving, I have some stuff that I can make food if I have some of the raw materials. I can actually use some food, but that's fine. I got some stuff here. And repair that. Excuse me while I hydrate and get some food in me. Yeah, that's great. Those respawned. I haven't been here in a long time. Oh, great. Okay. Don't want that. I want that, though. That's garbage. It's fine. I don't really want this stuff, but... have a smelter here, so having all this stuff is probably a waste. I don't need dog or cat food unless it's a dire emergency. Got my cooking station, got my bed, got storage. That's all I really need. This is all I need for my outpost. The existing, treasure boxes, if that's what I call them, the boxes that are here are just if I don't come here very often, then boom, they respawn. Obviously all the buildings in the surrounding area would have respawned as well, so they're all fixed back up. And that's essentially why do I pick these as my locations. Well, I got my parkour skill maxed out, so there's this little ambulance over here, and it's easy for me just to jump up here and get up on top of the building, although I failed there because the ladder is broke. Zeds can't get up there. So it's an ideal location for me. It's way that how bad I'm hurting or whatever, I can get up here. Unless, of course, my leg's broken, in which case the parkour ability gets kind of damaged. But outside of that, it's a decent place to be. It's above ground. I'm not going to get constantly attacked. It's semi-fortified. If I need to fix the walls, I'll just come in and drop in some more concrete slabs or brick or whatever where I need to. And then I go ahead and go on my way. That's my typical outpost. The fact that it's a permanent outpost is mainly because it's got all those treasure loot, boxes right there in that room. So when I come back here, I get a little bit of stuff for my, for my visit. Robot drives me nuts. All right, carry my magazines and go ahead and carry these extra weapons. Then this stuff, most of this is going to go in here. Actually, books I want to take back to my base. It's only the magazines I really need to get rid of. Bump. Actually, no. We'll open those up. These are probably going to be filled with stuff that I can get rid of. More magazines. All right, robot. Now we'll see where I'm at. Ooh, I'm out of iron. I'm gonna have to get some more iron. Oh well. Onward. Another reason why I like this location is that it's got a good close proximity to the wasteland biome because of this little road that goes out of town. It actually loops around. It's actually easier for me just to go over the hill because it's so dang loopy. I'll show you on the map here. I don't even know what's over there, but it loops back around and then it connects up, and there's the wasteland area. You should see what's out here. I guess I haven't been out there before. For all I know, there's another merchant out here and I've never visited. Probably just goes over to the... Do a little exploring on my little recording here. Should be keeping track of the time, but I'm not. Of course, every time you use the map, I gotta boost my... Yep, it's just the ocean. Or whatever they're calling it. Yeah, it's just a cabin. Thought maybe there might be a fort or something out here, but nope, just a cabin. Another place for me to loot if I ever feel up to it. Ooh, this is... okay, a little nasty. You got a big riverway here.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, this is a fort. Well, these makeshift survivor forts. I've thought about using these too as a base. I haven't yet, but I kind of like the idea of having... It does feel like a genuine survival. All that is 3 campers with some walls built around it, or 4 campers maybe, with walls built around it. You know, that's probably something that would be done in a zombie apocalypse. Just put a pin in it sometime in the future. Maybe that's what I'll do. Alright, I want to find the road before I cross over, because I do not like traveling cross country in the wasteland because of all the bricks and metal bits that are in the ground. No explanation of why they're there. Okay. Well, my first few ventures into the wasteland were not pleasant. They were terrifying. And now I've been here long enough and I have a base here and I'm much, much happier. Turns out there's a treasure map I kind of want to go get. It's not too far away, but it's in an unexplored area. And I hate going cross country. I just fixed my dang vehicle. Travel faster by foot anyway. Flock, there won't be anything here.
Master, we are not alone. Critical errors shutting down.
Why? That wasn't too bad. I'm not very close to my truck, so hopefully there's not too much crap in here. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. All right.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Gotta keep your calm in zombie land. Uh-oh, gotta get a wolf. All right, now we can get going. So this is my second attempt at building a base in the wasteland. I had another base at a military base on the edge of town. I liked the location of it, sort of. It was easy to access, but I couldn't fortify it the way I wanted to. It was too easy for the Zeds to get to me when I was there, and all I wanted to do was cook some stuff, and I was getting tired of. And I could have fixed it.
Incoming enemy.
It just
Prepare for
it didn't have a lot of upward possibilities. I wasn't happy about it. So I moved my base to its current location, which I am much, much happier with. Thanks for your service. Robot, would you stand still? God, it drives me nuts. Whenever I want him to be in a specific location, he's never there. But the second I get into combat, he just finds a way of standing between me and what I want to shoot at. Pisses me off to no end. Oh, I'm out of repair kits. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. Because I'm out of metal, I'm out of repair kits. Oh well. Let's see. Scrap that. It's been a full day since I started recording this. Yep. 1 minute after. Just in time to meet my second base, my current enjoyment. I wish it was daylight. Oop. I also realized I don't have my headlights on for some reason. Don't stop for zombies. Stop for zombie wolves and zombie dog or zombie. Dang it! All wrong buttons. Bears, because they are guaranteed loot drops.
Master, we are not alone.
Pitch. These things are hard to steer when they're on steroids. Oh, a couple more blocks. I know my landmarks. Down here's the big theater. I love looting that theater. Let's see if it's fixed its... Won't be able to take anything out of there because I don't have any room, but this is why I have that. Oop. Good stuff. Good stuff that I can't do. I'll have to get that later. I love it when that stuff respawns and I have easy access to it. Alright, we're almost to the base. I wanted my base to be closer to the downtown area because this is such a loot-rich environment down here. And so that's what I did. Oh. And when you're in a loot-rich environment, you want to be as close to the action as possible. Actually, save myself a little trouble here. Carry some of that extra garbage. Okay. Crack-a-book. I've been using Crack-a-book. I love these Crack-a-book locations. The ones that have the little... There's several different types of them. But I like this particular one because it's got the little house on top of it. It's got a little room above the store that I like to use as... it's an easy, if you have parkour, just to jump on top of the awning, go up there, get the stuff, and leave. So this is my outpost, my second base, I call it. My second base. Fully fortified. So I walled in concrete blocks the entire front. Go inside first instead of doing the outside tour first. So I love the little room that's up here. It's nice for a little one person. I got myself my bed. I got a couch. I got the loot boxes that are in here that I'm using for my stuff. Got my raw materials there. I got my little tools and little devices that I'm using to improve my place, and my overflow for all the crap that I don't know what to do with. I put in a little radiator. I got my workbench. There's a hole in the wall here, and I filled it with one of these little iron boxes. Carries all my foodstuffs. Everything that's basically the stuff that I use to cook is in here. So water and fat and all the raw materials that I use to cook stuff with, like meat. Got all my little tool items in here. Don't have much. That should be in there. Cooking station. Refrigerator holds all of my cooked stuff. So these are things that are not used in recipes. These are the end results of recipes. I got a little washer. It's holding some of my excess ammo that I actually utilize. It's a nice little living space. It's barely, basically this makes it for a decent outpost. But I decided I wanted more, so I made it into a base. Got this little area out here. I thought this looked kind of good. I got all my, oh, I didn't even show this in my main base. I've got these little water coolers, and I filled all of them up so they're all maxed out. They all carry all my pure mineral water. I did the same thing here. Got lockers. I'm currently not using any of these, but I'm planning on it. And shelves up above. We'll start with the top. I built a nice little staircase up here for my garden. This was the main reason why I started building my base here, is because I have a great garden back at the other base, but I kept running out of food. I needed a way of cooking fresh food, and the best way to do that is to get fresh produce. So I built myself a garden so I can grow the food I need to. I don't like the fact that there's so many damn bears in this location. I get attacked by bears all the time. We'll get to my defenses later. Once it's daylight, it won't be so bad. Back to my garden. So I got the natural, like these certain kind of windows, even though there's no light goes through them. The little fancy block glass, and access my different garden. So I got a little garden on the roof. Over here, I got a solar panel with room for another one here. So far, this is enough power, but it is really running. It needs to be more powerful. I need to replace the solar cells with more powerful ones, but it's a process. That is wired to the battery charger. I got to go out to the car to get that battery that I found and stick it in here. So this is generates more electricity. As you can see, this is 205, but it uses up those batteries at night. I got my little forge over here. Nice little spot for that. I had an empty space over here with a toilet and some duct work. And I said, well, I said early on, this is going to be where I'm going to build my bathroom, and that's exactly what I did. I got some sandbags there, and I built this little shed as best I could. Came out pretty much the way I wanted it to. So the water that from rain rolls off. Toilet, sink, got some storage. I could keep the original duct that was in here. Worked out well. I even put the light bulbs in. That's why they're all lit up. I put light bulbs there. I got one in here because I was tired of being in the dark at night. I only have one water collector over here instead of three like in my main base, but that's fine. I fixed the glass on the windows that were broken, and I didn't want to re-break them accidentally, so I put in this nice little lattice work and fence work around the big area. I got my concrete blender there. Not all good space. Look at this. This is all space. I could build buildings over here. I could build a garden. I could do whatever I want. This is the stairway that's blocked off. I think it just permanently keep Zeds from being able to use it. Lower portion, which is above the warehouse. Oh, I put the planters in and put trees in. I have two of them. We'll get to the other one in a second. Like the police station, there's a fenced-in, walled-in little parking area, and I like that. That's part of the reason why I picked this place, is I thought it would be a decent base. So I had this thing built, and then we'll get to it. I wanted to access the store below. I was just going to fill it in. I was going to just put tons of concrete down there and fill material like dirt and sand and other crap and just fill the whole thing in to make it but I was like, you know what? Once it's walled off, it's actually a pretty secure location. How am I going to access it? I have two areas down there. This one lets me access one of the areas. And I wanted this access for a very specific reason. There's vending machines down here that will respawn. Love that. Anything that respawns is great. So I can come down here every other day or so and pick up more cans of different kinds of food. I'm going to do that. Put in a washing machine and dryer. They have a little lounge in here, which I kind of liked. I have not replaced these. I will eventually replace these with functional ones, but the water cooler's fine. And functioning cabinets, because those are all busted up too. Again, a nice little sink, industrial sink, and a workbench it's non-functioning. I can use it for storage though, and I walled off everything else. You cannot access this except via the roof, or like the zombies did, they banged their way right through the damn wall from the outside. That really ticked me off. They were halfway up the stairway banging on this thing before I realized they were doing it. There's a men's and women's bathrooms down here, and I converted them. So the men's bathroom is essentially just a bathroom. You got your stalls, your urinals, you got your sink. So that's the bathroom. And then over here, I converted the women's into a shower room. So you got a shower with the drain, sink, locker, cabinet. I put all that stuff in. I put light bulbs in these two rooms. I put a light bulb out here as well to keep it lit up at night. It's all wired up. So this is why, this is this area, which I kind of liked. I have hatches, and I have an idea of doing a ladder down to the store below or another staircase. I haven't figured out where I want it yet. So let's go ahead and start off, we'll look at our defenses. Yeah, so this is the area where they dug through the damn wall, so I had to reinforce the wall to keep them, at bay. I imagine the next time they try, they're going to go through the storage in there. We'll get to that. Each one of these, wherever you see a gun, was a pillar. And this was all empty space. So the first thing I did was fill in the space with a concrete wall on the bottom and then the cobblestone up above because it's not as durable as this. And then there's a pillar. Well, that's what was over here. Early on, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get rid of those pillars and replace them with guns. So now you got a gun with a metal cage in front of it. It's standing on metal fencing. They're not going to get, if they get over here, they're going to get shot at. The guns can shoot through those metal fences. Between the little concrete buoy things, I also put in all these little spiky bits, so that kind of keeps them at bay. The whole front of the store I just blocked off because this was all open. I had a lot of concrete. This is so much more fortified than actually my main base is. Another one there that was a pillar, corner pillar. 3 pillars over here. That's every one of these so far has been an SMG. That one's a shotgun. That one's an SMG. I put in a metal fence here. They're not going to waste their time trying to beat through this. It takes a long time to beat through those. There was a fence here that was broken. I had to replace it, so I replaced it with the same material. Put in a nice little arc above it, so it's all filled up. Patched a hole that they dug through. Left this one. I like that. Patched that. Had to fill that all in because it was all wrecked. So technically, they could climb up here and get up to my roof fairly easily if they actually figured it out, but they haven't figured that out yet. So I thought about putting in another one of those gates that you can open and close, but heck with it. The warehouse, the only way to access the warehouse is through there or to the main building. There's also the foreman's office. They have dug through this before as well. That's why I didn't want them to do that. So that's part of the reason why I walled off that little corner back there. This gives you access to the store. These, for some strange reason, it's easier for them to dig through solid concrete than it is these gates, when in reality these gates would be so much easier to break through. So we're in the back side of the bookstore. This is an area I intended to just fill with crap and just completely block it off. But it's actually a decent amount of space. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this space, but it's here. The kitty corner, bookshelves, which are pretty much junk. I created a wall that divided the back half of the store to the front half. Right now, most of it's just building blocks I have to replace. I have to just go through with a hammer and turn these into wood, turn the wood into cobblestone, turn the cobblestone into concrete. But for now, it is what it is. Front half of the store. There's already couches in here that I didn't have to place. Got the checkout area. I'm going to have to clear all this out. I don't need it. I've already got rid of a lot of the fences. This thing was all damaged, so I filled it in. The other ones I just fixed. I just fixed holes that were in the gates. They're non-functioning. A couple of them are functioning. I took out the non-functioning gate that was here and replaced it with a functioning one. And this turns out this would be an excellent garage area if I had a car small enough to just pull in here, work on the car here, living space, workspace, whatever I want down here. It's pretty awesome. This is a multiplayer base. Now we're under the overhang, and I have another outer gate. So this thing is how big the gate needs to be for my truck to be able to go through. It's high enough and wide enough to accommodate the truck. These little 2x aren't big enough. The truck will not go through that gate, but it goes through this one nicely. So I either need to get rid of the walls here and replace this with one of these, or I'm just going to have to leave it the way it is. And for now, I'm just going to leave it. What I love about this, unlike my other base, is this one, I can fully access all my guns right from in here. So I got this nice little fortified wall that's between it and the store itself, and I can access all the guns. I can reload them once they get used up. It's a really nice little fortified zone. And the ammo, the 9mm and shotgun shells that are needed to replace them, I just put in here. It's an excellent place for me to deposit excess ammo that I use too much of. And that's my base. I think it comes out. Most of this I've done in the last week or two, I think. Just every once in a while I get a little idea, like this, doing this whole area was something I did the other day, as well as that, and this outside stuff. The garden that's been there for several weeks. This I finished up over last weekend, I think, a week ago, I should say. Most of the stuff in here has been here for a while, and I'm happy with the way this is working.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Worked pretty well, don't you think? That was a good way to end the video. Lots of possibilities. I can create more garden space or more building space. I can practice my building skills. I can definitely build some stuff up. Again, I'm not intending this to be a horde base. I have no desire to... Oh my god, I didn't realize that's not on the actual ground. Because of these things, I might have to replace the concrete there with full blocks instead of these little half-sized ones. I don't like that. Well, they're built into the thing, so it doesn't really matter. I can just say they're attached to this instead of the ground. But from above, I couldn't tell that that was not... I thought that was on this thing. Yeah. Oh, well. Other than not being able to put this into the garage and, like, pull it in and secure it. But that's my big plan. I have a couple of ideas. I have... I'm either going to do one of these steel hatches with a ladder going down from it, down into the store, or else I'm going to use an iron cellar door similar to the wooden one that's out there, and have another staircase. But trying to decide where I want it to be is the thing. I don't want to build it and then have to destroy it and build it someplace else, and I don't want to have to tear up my floor or my roof, depending on how you want to look at it, up here, and then end up having to move it 3 blocks over because I don't like its placement. So until I figure out where I want that to be, that's kind of where I'm at. But anyway, I love this location because of the stuff that's around it. I've already looted almost all the buildings in this area. Some days I just get, let's just go off in an area, and I go down the block and loot every building as I go. I still haven't done the Buccaneer place, the Burgoneer, but I've done most of the other ones I've done in the area. There's actually two of these like pawn shops on the same block. They're way too close together, and they have really good loot.
Master, we are not alone.
There's one here, and then there's one at the end of the block. Like, yeah, that's about maybe 2 blocks down, and they're exactly the same. It's the pawn shop right next door to Zoe's Salon. But there's a lot of good locations, and I can just, once they respawn, I deal with that. Now I want to show you a couple of my favorite 7-day forts. And they had just 2 of my favorite locations just happened to be in my backyard of this base. One of them is this building, the hospital. I used this one several times until the point where the stupid... the Zeds that have the explosive suits came up and blew up my dang fire escape. But I love being up on top of this fire escape and just yeeting zombies off into the ground. Basically yeeting them out into the parking lot, and then they'd be forced to climb all the way back up again and again and again. Oh, it was so much fun. And then once the thing gets broken, then I utilize the staircase. I got this lovely broken staircase that they can't get on top of. So I just sit up here and shoot at them until they... Forgot there's guys on the roof.
Incoming enemy. Prepare for conflict.
It was almost a 7-day experience. Another staircase that goes up there. Anyway, this is one of my 2 or 3 favorite places to fend off the horde on a 7-day event. If it's an intact building. Basically, they climb up on the staircase there. That door is locked, so they can't get me. They won't go that way until this way is no longer available. The fire escape ends here, and basically I destroy part of the top of it. So then I just get out my yeet stick, and then whap, bam, launch them out into the parking lot. I love doing that. It just gives me so much fun. Then they decide they want to come up on the staircase, and they'll break through the door, so I have to pre-destroy the top of the staircase so they can't get up here. But if they still see me, they'll come up this far, and I can just shoot them with my guns. It's a fun place to, I think, to have 7-day events. The other one of my favorite places is the construction site next to Mamma Mia's Pizza. This thing I've used many times. And it's so destroyed now, I don't think I can use it again without probably making it... I have to do stuff to make it easier for the Zeds to get to me because all the staircases are destroyed now. And they don't like that. But anyway, they work their way up the staircase. They come across here. They come across here. Bam, I can bash them on here. They try to come up this staircase. I could just stand up here forever and just bap them or shoot them with my guns. If they force me up any higher.
My senses have picked up something.
God, I love that. There's usually not any Zeds on this level. This is the penultimate level. The only way you can get to the higher level, though, is to use the staircase. It's not staircase, the ladder. The ladder here is broken in several spots. So you usually have to fix it, which I've done. But I always destroy the bottom of it so they don't... If you want, you can just fix the ladder and they'll just keep coming straight up the ladder until they overrun you. That's a good way to die. Or eventually they damage the thing and you have to fix it anyway. But you can come all the way to the top of the crane. Which I have done before. And just use the top. But once the spitters start destroying stuff, then you don't have a good platform to work with. So this is the actual top of the building, which is also a respawnable loot location, but I haven't been away long enough for those to respawn. It's weird that the enemies have respawned, though. A little worn down. Anyway, I love this. You'll find this building in all of the major cities, and I just love it. I fix the ladder, I destroy the bottom 2 rungs, I climb up to a certain point. Sometimes I leave the ladder the first time all the way to the ground, and I just shoot them and shoot them and shoot them. But I prefer to clear out the top floor and then basically use this staircase as my way of destroying them. The only thing that happens that's bad between the bloaters that blow up, because they blow up surrounding blocks, and the people that explode, the ones that have the explosive suits. Because when they go off, they blow up everything around them. Anyway, so that's in my backyard as well. And then there's this lovely location, which is another good location. Also has a lot. This is a cool building to have to go through for. It reverses what you normally do. Most of these high rises, the loot location's on top of the building, and you have to work your way up to get there. Well, this one you start by climbing the ladder to the very top of the building, working your way all the way down, and the loot room is actually in the basement. In the parking garage, I should say. I love this. It makes me laugh.
You seem to require first aid.
So anyway, the loot locations in the parking garage. I don't think these have probably respawned. No, it's too easy for me just to hop over here and grab it, and I keep coming here when they're not, and it resets the clock, I think. So it ticks me off about that. Anyway, a decent place. You keep the ladder intact, or not. It doesn't matter. I start with it intact, and once it gets blown away, that's fine. They'll just work their way up the building. Boomity boomity. Hopefully there's nothing up here. Oh, nope, I'm wrong.
Incoming enemies. Prepare for conflict.
I love parkour. Is that it? Notice I did the same thing here. Once that ladder is no longer accessible from the zombies that are on the ground, the Zeds will climb up and they will get to that room with the broken staircase. And if I want, I can venture down and kill them. Because there's a positive and a downside. The positive of leaving it open is that they're just going to keep on coming. And you're going to run out of ammo at some point on a long night. And I have mine set up for 8 hours of night, by the way. I have the day divided into thirds. I have basically a morning, daytime, then the afternoon, evening, and then I have 8 hours of night because I didn't think 6 was long enough. I wanted to make it a little more challenging. And I prefer the 8 hours. It's more realistic. Anyway, there's that. The other downside is that if they drop a loot bag, it's at the bottom of the dang ladder, and you're going to periodically have to go down there to pick up the dumb things. You can wait till the end of the night, but 8 hours is a long time, and some of those things will despawn if they fall early enough in the night. So it's kind of a pain in the butt to have to get down here and get off the ladder, pick up the loot, and climb back up. So the staircase thing is a lot cleaner in terms. If you really want to make sure you keep picking up your loot bags and not letting them, or not forgetting about them, or letting them despawn. I mean, it does take a long time for them to
Master, we are
despawn.
not alone.
But here, whether they fall down a floor or they fall over there, you can always just come down and grab it. If it goes down onto the other floor accidentally, you come over here and grab it right back up the staircase. So it's a lot more controlled. And once you know that nothing's going to be able to get at you from up above, it's a nice, safe location. So this has turned out to be one of, I love these high rises though. Most of the high rises that are in this game are you could utilize most of them for a 7-day event. So why go through the trouble of building some construct that's entirely unrealistic when you can just use the space that you already have? These are all excellent. You want to be high enough off the ground that they're not, that you don't want to be easy to get to. You want them to have to work for it, basically. Especially in the wasteland. Alright, that's enough of that.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
I don't want to go back to my base because then they're going to start digging at the walls. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. Those are my current base locations, for better or worse. Let me know what you think. I've only been playing this game for I think 2 years, off and on. I did not play it for almost a full year, and I'm only recently, well, not recently. I started back in the fall, I guess, and we're in the spring now. But back at it more or less full time. I got some more stuff I got to deal with, so I think that's where I'm going to stop it. Oh, I love this game. I'm enjoying my play of it, and I'm trying to keep true to the, the, the game and not, do a bunch of flaky stuff that I don't think is very realistic. So I'll have more recordings in the future. I don't know really what I'm going to record. If I decide to play through start up a new game, maybe that would be fun to watch. I don't know. I don't like dying over and over until I level up to the point where I don't have to worry about it. And I like where I'm at now. I got my good stuff, well equipped. Oh yeah, I didn't even show you all my. I'm pretty much maxed out in almost everything. I think I'm on level 210 or something. I don't know. In the 200 teens. Um, More on that next time, I guess. We'll go over some other play things. But until then, thanks for watching.